For obvious reasons, there's been a lot of talk about Latrell Mitchell's impending contract. Where will he go? How much will the contract be worth? But most importantly, does he prefer pancakes or waffles?
We fight.
I'm Old Panther, and this is Rugby League news by fans, for fans. In all seriousness though, what actually has me curious is whether or not a centre is worth a large money contract in a competition where teams have to adhere to a salary cap. When it comes down to it, you can be the best player in the world, but you have to consider the workload of the players and how much is being contributed to the team as a whole. Obviously there are other factors, like supply and demand, and how much individual players are worth will definitely vary, based on a bunch of factors, like experience, whether they're a rep player, etc. I do need to stress that this is a statistical analysis for this year to see how much a centre, and particularly Mitchell, contributes to a team with the way the game is currently played. It's not a specific commentary on whether someone is a good or bad player. I do really like Mitchell as a player. He's one of the most naturally imposing blokes you could have run at you, which is where the English comparisons come from. But let's get into it. The most basic thing to consider is how much are these guys touching the ball. Now it should go without saying, the hooker is clearly doing this more than anyone, and the entire top 10 receipts is dominated by the hookers. And even less surprising is that Cameron Smith leads the comp with 3,120 receipts for the season, at an average 115 a game. Obviously, as one of the best ever, he services his team better than anyone, so you want him touching the ball and running things as much as possible. But where do the centres rank? Well, they don't. Every player in the top 50 is a spine player, so your halfback, fullback, 5'8", and dummy half. 50th place is Caleb Ponga with 718 for the year. Mitchell's player profile on the Roosters website has him with 316 receipts from 25 games, which is pretty standard for the position. For context, Jared Croker had 331 from 27 games, Bronson Xerri had 332 from 22 games, and Mitchell's centre partner at the Roosters, Joseph Manu, had 368 from 25 games, so they're all pretty similar. Which means 50th place is still touching the ball 358 times more than Mitchell is over a season. That's a pretty big difference in workload expected from the positions right there. Now, you'll find the same with the line engagements, which again makes perfect sense since your halves and fullback are the positions who are expected to go at the opposition and use their playmaking ability. Fun fact, Luke Brooks leads the comp here with 197 line engagements for the season. So in conclusion, outside backs are only worth match payments. Thanks for watching. Okay, maybe that's a bit simple, and we should see what Mitchell's possessions are actually worth to a team. If you're a club signing him on good money, you're obviously going to want the attacking skills he's noted for, and I can say now it's not all media hype. He's second on the try scorers list, with 19 tries, just behind Sivo from the Eels, who has 22, so he has no issue scoring, even during a year where people have questioned his effort. Now with try assist, he's much further down the list at 27. But that's not inherently negative. He's equal on try assist with Cronk, and he's the first centre on the list, with everyone in front of him being in one of the spine positions, except for Kenny Bromwich, who is apparently a halfback at heart. That means in total, he's responsible for 29 tries for a total of 116 points over the season, and Mitchell is also 5th for line break assists, with the rest of the top 10 again being dominated by spine players. Then we have to take into account his goal kicking, which he kicked at 75% this year, which isn't among elite goal kickers, but isn't the end of the world considering Jared Croker is a goal kicking centre, and he was at 73% for the year. So we've got all these numbers flying around, but what does it actually mean for signing Mitchell? Well, a team like the Roosters aren't exactly in a position where they need to be worried about scoring points. They have the best player in the game right now at fullback, and Luke Keary is a more than capable half, being second for try assists for the year, and the list goes on with half the team being rep players, so while he's a great asset to them, it'd be pointless to use up a big chunk of cap space on a centre. But what about the team like the Tigers, who the media have been telling us are favourites to sign him? Well, as I alluded to before, he's apparently had a bad year this year. For example, it's mentioned in an article in the Sydney Morning Herald on June 8th by Phil Gould, discussing the Origin series, where he says, and I quote, "I think the greater challenge comes in deciding what to do with marquee centre Latrell Mitchell. He is the potential match winner for the Blues. He was a major factor in their success last year. However, this young man looks very distracted at the moment. His club football has been poor for more than a month, after some scintillating performances earlier in the season. His lazy efforts of late are now becoming a distraction to his teammates. I'm not sure the Origin coaching staff are the ones who can help Latrell. This is a matter for the Roosters. They are the ones with the personal relationship that can get to the bottom of the real issues involved here." Yet, with this apparent laziness or attitude issue, he's still been a top 3 centre in the entire competition. So now is it worth it for the Tigers to spend big to get him? Yes, I think it is. Even more so if they get peak Latrell. I think the big question that needs to be answered is, can the Tigers bring him into the game? And without a doubt, Tigers halves have the ability to allow Mitchell to do his thing. Fun fact, both Tigers halves are in the top 10 for try assist, and as mentioned earlier, Brooks takes the line on more than anyone. Benji is 9th for line break assists, and Brooks 23rd, so they haven't got an issue there. Really, as a team, they're only a small step away from being a competitive top 8 team, having lost 3 games by 2 points or less, another 3 by 8 points. Does anyone think a player like Mitchell can't bring that last bit of polish to their attack? I think it's just about a foregone conclusion that he'll do just that. Now the salary cap is a big factor as well, and there's no way I'd have any other centre on even close to $1 million, but I think Latrell and the Tigers are a special case. For starters, they don't exactly have a spine taking up ridiculous cap space for the near future. I'm pretty sure Corey Thompson playing fullback is on a pie and coke. And that's if Mitchell doesn't play fullback if he were to sign, which is a position undoubtedly worth the money. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope I didn't bore you too much with the numbers talk. For the record, all the stats I used came from NRL.com. Let me know what you think. I'd definitely be curious to hear from Tigers fans about whether they want him or not. Have a good day, guys.